Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to a Saturday edition of the weekly Steelchair. Back-to-back weeks. It feels good. But don't take my face for it. You can take Eilidh's off-screen face for this. This isn't going to be a happy show. And we are not saying this because we don't love our audience. We do. We enjoy our audience. Tonight, however, this afternoon, going into tonight, I should say, this show is not one that you would expect from either of us, because for once we agree.
For once we're on the same page. But more importantly,
how are you, though?
We're on the same page as I think most of the IWC. Certainly most of the modern IWC. I mean, if you know, the 90s WWE sort of, I imagine that AEW fans actually really like the decision, because obviously AEW sort of hoovered up the Attitude Era fans. So they'll be loving this. They'll be loving. We'll get into what happened, and you probably already know.
If they are, fair play them. Like,
it's worrying.
Either fan base. There's so many fan bases right now. Like, whether it be a hardcore WWE fan, a hardcore AEW fan, just changing the channel just to see what's happened. A casual fan. Hell, I'm one of the biggest Rock fans you'll ever find. We're gonna get into that, but even I'm like, fuck off. But we're gonna get into this because there's a lot. But Eilidh, before we even divulge into the decorum of the show and what we're gonna get through, how you doing?
I'm all right. I've been at work. I now work Saturday mornings because you gotta stay on that grind. But no, I'm. Well, I mean, it's tutoring, so I just kind of agreed to take a new student.
All right, okay.
Through in Kirkcaldy, so it's a little flick through on the bus. It's not bad at all. So other than obviously what happened last night and the fact that I believe Dunfermline are losing 4-0 right now, things could be better, but we're in high spirits and we're going to at least have fun absolutely destroying WWE for what they've done.
Or we can at least attempt it. I'll tell you just now anyway, because obviously for yourself, you'll be happy, of course, that Tottenham also drew 2-2. It's now 5-0 to Greenock Morton. Michael Gallagher.
That hasn't gone well. We file this under results to forget.
It puts your goal difference down to -5.
Yeah, it's been a weird season for Dunfermline, and we're not here to talk about that as much as I would love to say it. I'd love to sit here and talk about Dunfermline getting beat 5-0 over what's actually happened, but we best get into it. So.
It has been an interesting day for Scottish football, though, like all across the board results-wise. But again, that's not what we're here for. If we want to talk
we're here for the interesting results of the Royal Rumble, but we'll come into what actually happened at the Rumble. But you'll know, and everyone was. Did it not feel like there was a little bit of sort of rejoicing? I mean, I know that I sat here a week ago and said that CM Punk should win the Rumble.
This is a disclaimer. That's not a joke. That's the current live score: Newcastle versus Luton. It's 4-4.
Wow, that's quite the game.
With 10 minutes to go, I'm actually. I should watch
that'll be one for match of the day anyway.
Yep.
But yeah,
let's get on with it.
Yeah, so Cody wins the Rumble, and it seemed to be a decision that, look, unless you hate Cody Rhodes because you hate Cody Rhodes, everyone was on board with this decision, even if it was CM Punk that wasn't winning. And did that maybe have to do with the probably legitimate injury of CM Punk, how he's torn his tricep? Anyway, they went with Cody winning the Rumble. And Cody wins the Rumble because he's going to go and finish the story. I mean, Michael Cole even teased it up at the end of Royal Rumble, where he says, which champion will he choose? And it's a bloody great moment because Cody literally just stands there and points up to Roman Reigns, who's in the gods of this stadium. It's 48,000 seat crowd. It was fantastic. and he looks right up, points at him, yells at him. He's like, I'm coming for you. And Michael Cole goes, I think he's made his choice. Cody wants to finish the story. Hey, Roman Reigns, what inning is it anyway? Making it sound like this is it. This is it. We've teed up the finale. This is Avengers Endgame. This is it. We are coming to the end of this Roman Reigns title reign. Cody is going to do it.
Or are we?
And then last night happened. And I mean, I've obviously explained what happened with the Rumble, so I guess I should just continue with the SmackDown. Roman Reigns comes out.
Exactly. So
Roman Reigns comes out, cuts the promo, buries Seth Rollins a little bit, I suppose, in a way that
and as
Roman
expected,
Reigns can get away with.
As expected, because obviously Rollins did have a strong barrage of words on Monday. Understandable. It's only right, even though Roman is a prick and overrated and a terrible champion and a waste. It's only fitting, at least he does get a chance to respond.
Yeah, but it wasn't much of a response though, because
I mean, it was very
well.
weak.
I mean, Roman went for genuinely. I heard the point of like you cut around for 2 years, calling yourself the best, wearing your wife's clothes. I've been making that joke for 2 years. It's not original, you know. I've been saying for as long as we've been on the show that Seth and Becky seem to just swap outfits for pay-per-views. You know. It was such a low-hanging fruit sort of line at him, and yeah, he mocked the injury. I mean, that's fair enough. But obviously, it's easier to get injured when you're actually on the show, Roman. And then
it's also easier to get injured if you actually do your job properly.
Yep. And then Cody,
injury susceptible.
Yeah, and then Cody comes out, huge pop, huge reaction. The fans are there for him. Cody's in his suit. He lets us know what he wants to talk about. He wants to talk about finishing the story. And he utters the phrase...
Can I interject for a second?
Yeah, go for it.
Interject for 1 second. See that whole phrase, finish the story? It is now becoming so redundant, so repetitive, and so boring.
Oh, it's beyond redundant now.
It's now lost. It's now lost all. I'm going to let you carry on a second. But for me now, whenever he says the words "finish the story," that's it. You've got nothing. It's null and void.
Oh yeah, I mean, it doesn't help that it's like I have to finish the story, but he's put the book down. You know, like he's stopped writing it.
He's got nothing.
Yeah.
He's not entitled.
No one's stopping him. This isn't like the injury, or this isn't that someone else beat him in the Rumble. This isn't adversity.
Yeah.
We're coming on to what actually happened. So he goes. Yes, Roman Reigns, I'm moving the goalposts because I don't just want to take that title away from you. I want to take everything away from you. He says, I spoke about counsel. I'm going to take it all from you, but not at WrestleMania. So first, when he said, I'm going to take it all from you, I'm still on board because it just sounds like a fired up promo. You know, he's like, I don't just want the title, I want to end the bloodline. I'm like, okay, this is great. And you know, I was wondering, is this going to be the moment where he like assembles the Avengers almost? Is it going to be like we've been seeing? Is it Cody, Seth, Jay, Sammy, and Kevin? Is this what we're doing now? Are we going full on like this is where Roman Reigns gets his comeuppance? This is where Roman Reigns has nowhere to run. But no, because instead he says, but not at WrestleMania. And that sort of, you raise the eyebrows a little bit. Huh? You won the Rumble, Cody. The Rumble's like, you get the main event title shot, Cody. You can choose. You can go for it at WrestleMania. No one's stopping you. Or are they? Because Cody then talks about how he'd been speaking to a lot of people, and one of them knows him very very well. If you smell what The Rock is cooking. Now, the fans lose it, because of course they do. The Rock's just entered this episode of SmackDown. Yeah. But outside of that arena,
real fans are paying attention.
Well, the fans at home don't get that buzz. They don't get that pop because, I mean, we kind of knew Rock was going to be on this show, because he's been announced, not announced for Australia. So it's not even like it's a major shock. This isn't like when he just turned up in Colorado.
Yeah.
Like, we were expecting him this time. So it wasn't even a pop for the fans at home. Because, it's Rock. And then it was like an infection just oozing in to your healthy cells because you realized they're doing Rock versus Roman at WrestleMania. And they're not finishing the story. And there's so many problems with this, but what was your initial reaction when they have the stare down?
I'm not going to lie to you. Everybody on this show knows how big of a Rock fan I am. But I'm not going to lie. I burst out laughing. I immediately burst out laughing. And the reason I burst out laughing, I was like, yep, Cody, you may as well just fuck off, mate. Like, that's you. Your purpose is gone. You've got nothing anymore. You've got no stake. That's you. You won the Royal Rumble and you pussied out and you're not even going for what you actually wanted in the first place. That's you.
Yeah.
Additionally, as well, I felt nothing in a sense of, okay, we're getting a stare down, but I didn't feel anything. Like, normally if I've got a Rock moment with a stare down, like, it depends on who it is. Like, it doesn't matter who it is. I'm expecting at least something. I didn't get anything. I didn't even get, like, a sense of anticipation. It was shit. In the nicest way. In the nicest way, it was shit. And if they, in fact, go down this route for WrestleMania, it's going to be Rock versus Roman. I'll gladly watch WrestleMania, but I will not watch this main event. I will not watch it. I will, because
the main event, they're going to call it a spectacle. They're going to call it, bloodline on the line, the head of the table on the line, the belts. It'll be like an all or nothing, winner take all sort of thing. And the problem is,
there's another thing as well. And this goes back to my point.
Yeah.
See all the people that think WrestleMania 40 is going to be the greatest WrestleMania of all time. This proves why I keep saying WrestleMania 17 is the greatest main event of all time. Because WWE do the same thing every single fucking year. They try to overdo it. They try to overbook it. They try to overcomplicate their fan base when really they don't need to. Keep it simple. The fans, to a degree, whether you like Cody or not, as you've said, they wanted Cody at WrestleMania because they want him to shut the fuck up about saying finish the story, and they wanted Cody just to win the title. It fucks off Roman. They have a working champion on SmackDown, just like they've got on Raw, before Rollins loses the world title. They wanted someone of purpose for that reason. Instead, no, WWE goes, well, The Rock's the biggest star we've had since Attitude Era, bar Stone Cold. What we'll do is we'll give someone on that basis where it's WrestleMania. We don't care about the fans. We just want money. We want the numbers that we're going to just keep over fabricating. We're going to have all that. And then, boom. After that, WrestleMania, Roman's going to disappear for 6 months. It comes back. His fans have a wet dream, raising their fingers. And then we all say, what the fuck?
Yeah, it doesn't hold much excitement, because it's not something that holds much water. It's because Roman's not going to lose to The Rock. And if Roman does lose to The Rock, the whole rub of this massive, long, utterly, if it does go to Rock, pointless title reign.
Can I also say as well, and I know you've got a big Raven from, and at times I've questioned his booking, and I'm rightly so, but this isn't just a Rock thing as well. Like, the fact that they've even went through in a booking sense, they've actually made this happen. Seriously, I'm questioning why Triple H has actually even went ahead with this. I don't understand.
It's WrestleMania, yeah.
But people are going to say, "Oh, it's Rock because Rock has got the power of his position." But it's not just that. Like, he has no creative influx. Like, it's been given to Triple H. If he's authorized this, then you have to seriously consider his motives, because it's not just about, like, I understand this, WrestleMania is their biggest event. They're all about making money. They want to put on a great spectacle. But you can make a great spectacle. You can still have a very terrible show. And you want to end a show on great climax. This is not the match.
There hasn't been a good WrestleMania main event
since Rock Austin
for a long time, and I know that that's subjective, okay?
It's not. It's fact. It's fact.
Why can't we just build something and have it finish? Like, why overcomplicate it with this gritty little addition that just does not need to be there at all?
Do you remember what I said
people are there for Roman and Cody the whole year and a half.
Do you remember what I said last year?
Roman,
do you remember what I said last week?
Cody.
You remember what I said last week about creative booking? The one thing that scares me about WWE is the fact that they don't take an opportunity to hit the climax when it really is at its peak, and they go off on a tangent. This is kind of I didn't want to be proven right. I wanted to be proven wrong.
Oh, this is absolutely proven that right. Like, this is the greatest example. If you were looking for an example of how to be proven right on that one, this is it. Cody is the new John Cena in terms of his popularity. You do not get a more popular babyface than Cody Rhodes. It's going to take you 6, 7, 8 years to build anyone to be as over as Cody Rhodes is and has been, and the way that it's been maintained, and the way that he's been protected, the way that he's been used, the way that he's feuded with the right people at the right time to get the right results and tell the right story and move it all forward. Cody's booking in WWE up until last night was near perfect. And you go and shit on all of it. You shit on 2 years of storytelling.
Bar the confusion of your favorite wrestler, but bar the confusion of your favorite super heavyweight wrestler.
Yeah. Well,
this is that.
They shit on 2 years of near perfect storytelling because they want Roman Rock. Have Roman Rock, okay? You can have it in the stadium in Australia. You can have it in the arena in France or in Germany, or you can. I don't know.
In Philly.
Do it at WrestleMania, non-fucking title.
Yeah. They could have done it next year. It wouldn't be a problem.
But you can't give someone the Rumble. You can't have someone win the Rumble, let alone back-to-back Rumbles, and then look like such a... Like, there is no other word than cuck, is there?
Oh yeah, he is.
Is there any other word than cuck?
He is WWE's now. He is now the plain version of a guy that's in AEW that cucks for his wife. Cody's now a cuck for the Cody is now the cuck for the title. Jamie, you made a fair point. So The Rock uses power and TKO overruled Triple H. That's a shame. There is a part of that. I do have some facts and statistics for this one. So I'm going to get into the first couple of comments that I actually have got. So the first one obviously is The Rock obviously wanted to save his WrestleMania match he didn't get last year due to schedule, and obviously he couldn't make WrestleMania.
I don't care.
Year. So that's part of it. I'm just saying that's part of it. But obviously. So I've got 2 comments specifically from PW Insider. So the first one is, while finishing the story was primed climax of WrestleMania 40, there were already some in WWE openly talking about the idea of Cody winning the world title and then challenging the winner of Reigns versus The Rock for SummerSlam in a title unification bout so that Cody could finally finish the story. So by the looks of it, what they're saying is Cody beats Seth, Roman beats Rock, and then at SummerSlam, where Roman's big peak of his title reign that started a couple of years ago, it stems from there where he then loses that, and then by the looks of it, they're going to go back to one champion. Cody Rhodes will just be WWE's WWE champion by the looks of it. So that's
there's one thing, but there's many issues with that. But a guy that is not even really being spoken about here when people go, "Oh, Cody can beat Seth," right? I will remind you that Seth jobbed to Cody 3 times.
Yeah,
but
there's no way he's
fair
doing
play
that
to
again.
him. 3 times in successive pay-per-views. I don't care if he's got an ego or not. If I put myself in Seth Rollins' position and I go, okay, I was ready to job to CM Punk, I was ready to lay down for CM Punk so you could tell that story because CM Punk's the big star, you make all the money. He gets injured, fine. So what you're going to do is have me lose to a guy that's already beaten me 3 times. And here's why that makes absolutely no fucking sense. If Cody can beat Seth 3 times in 3 successive pay-per-views, remember, the whole justification for why Cody did not win the World Heavyweight title off Seth Rollins, or, didn't even win the tournament in the first place, was because he wanted to finish the story, because he wanted Roman Reigns, because that wasn't the one for me, Bucko. That's how that worked. And instead, now it's like, okay, I guess I'll beat Seth then. So, okay, so you could have done that before. This didn't have to wait till WrestleMania. You have 3 pay-per-view wins over him. You have every right. You'd have had every right after Clash Champions to go, hey, see you at SummerSlam.
Mm-hmm.
Seth,
yeah.
I'm taking your title. I've beaten you 3 times. Once with a, was his also a torn tricep? Torn pec.
Torn pec.
Yeah, it was torn pec. My biology is great.
Punk tore his tricep. Cody tore his
pec. Yeah, that's what I'm confusing. But yeah, it's so now the reason that Cody's going after Seth is because Rock's there, and Rock wants Roman, but Rock.
Yeah. We didn't need
it's a sad fact of life, okay? But things die. Things get old. Things expire.
Yeah.
We know Rock won't beat Roman. That's what I was saying while you were away briefly. We know Rock won't beat Roman.
Oh,
so this whole angle,
I did hear. Yeah, I had someone coming.
This whole angle puts Seth under Cody again. Seth just might as well not win another world title.
It takes away his purpose as well. Like, Seth for the best part of a year, close to a year, thereabout, he's tried to legitimize the world title for the right reasons. Like,
he has, and he's done a really good job. Those matches have been great.
And now the world title, as what people have called it since day one, and it's a damn shame they've now just called it a secondary title with no importance. It is now just a secondary title with no importance. Seth should be facing a credible challenger that's going to take Raw forward whilst he goes away and actually recovers from injuries he's not had a chance to fully recover from. This should be the peak of Seth's longest title run since 2014-15. This is his longest period. This is his most important title run where he is the first of the WWE's second version of the world title, because obviously they retired it in 2011. So, they retired in 2013, but the whole concept of being an important title died in 2011. It just dropped off after Big Show won it. But the whole, this should have been, it's not going to be like up there with the WWE title, the Universal title. Like, it's not going to be on that level. But it was several decades ago the title that every wrestling fan wanted, bar the WWE title. If you asked any wrestler in the early 80s, late 80s, mid 90s, all the way throughout, what titles do you want? I want to be Intercontinental Champion. I want to be WCW United States Champion. I want to be WWE Champion. And I want to be WCW World Heavyweight Champion. Comes to WWE, what do you want? I want to be Intercontinental Champion. I want to be WWE Champion. Oh, by the way, I want to go to Raw or SmackDown. I want to be World Heavyweight Champion. Now, it means fuck all. And it's insulting. Like, it's insulting to that title as a whole. Why bring it back? We were asking for it to come back. I'm at the point now where maybe we were wrong all along. They should never fucking bothered because they've ruined Seth Rollins. I feel sorry for him. He's still dressed the way he does, and it's a bit nuts. Like he needs to change all that, but it's wasted his time.
Seth can't lose to Cody again.
If he does, then that's it. Nobody will take him seriously again as a world champion. That'll be it.
Like what? In Australia, are we getting the cash in? And if we get the cash in, we'll have Cody versus Priest.
If anything, right now, to save Rollins from suffering a stupid, unnecessary defeat at WrestleMania, where he's not going to defend against someone who's worthy, i.e. Gunther, for example, then give it to Priest. I don't think Priest is good enough to be world champion, but right now I'd take Priest for 2 months just so he can drop it at Mania.
And Cody also beat him in Saudi Arabia. The only thing that would make sense as an opponent for Cody Rhodes to have would be Finn Balor. Because Finn Balor beat him 3 times last year.
Yeah.
Then you'd have to get the World Heavyweight title on to Finn Balor. And he doesn't have the briefcase unless he takes it from Damian. And again, this is the problem with the road to WrestleMania. It should just be a straight road. Everything is in place.
We don't know what's happening with the Elimination Chamber, though. I already said at the Rumble show that I was expecting whoever won the Rumble, which we kind of got, that the women's side, they're going to challenge Io Sky, which we were inevitably correct. The women's chamber is going to be qualifying to face Rhea. We know who's going to win that. That's an easy one.
Oh, apparently Rhea's just defending.
Was she going to defend in the chamber? I thought she was going to have a contender.
No, Rhea's defending against Jax.
Okay, that's funny.
That was the report that I got. They had to pit Nia Jax because Rhea's not going to get booed in Australia.
True. So they have Rhea, but then obviously at WrestleMania, I'm expecting to be Lynch versus Ripley anyway. But in terms of Seth Rollins, to be fair, if the plan is to have him versus Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania, I would rather have Seth Rollins defend the title in the Elimination Chamber. That means there's 2 ways of taking the title off him. 1, Priest isn't in it. But 2, Priest could easily just deal with it after.
But if Cody's picked Seth Rollins, Seth won't have to defend the title in the chamber.
I know, but I would still do it.
I absolutely... No, what I would have done is not have The Rock come out at all.
Me neither, but what's done is done now.
Okay, so how...
Moving on to second comment.
Go for it.
So this is also... pretty much all the comments I've got are from PW Insider. So the second one is So in WWE, there isn't going to be anyone that's not going to at least consider The Rock's ideas. This wasn't done to target and politic Cody Rhodes out of his main event of Malice. But out of the belief that Johnson was the best idea to make money now and respect his new position with the company's parent company. This was a strategic move to give Johnson more political power and to show Endeavor's faith in his involvement, and that even Paul Triple H Levesque would, in quotation marks, lose that power struggle with Johnson at this point, as one source summarized. So effectively, not only does The Rock have the board status, he now completely supersedes Levesque, by the way. I thought he didn't. This comment pretty much confirms he has that. He's got that.
How on earth can you have that? We are supposed to be beyond the days where someone has more power than the booker, or at least when someone on screen has more power than the booker. So if Rock's going to take more power than that, he shouldn't be on screen. He shouldn't. Like you can't do that. I mean, I saw people calling him Dwayne Hollywood Hogan Johnson. It is. This is Hogan.
In a way, yeah.
This is Hogan. This is Hogan wanting to be the main event because the show's already sold out, which I think is true of WrestleMania, or at least it's a projected sellout. So it's just not going to feel the same, and I'll be happy for Cody. I will. And when he beats Seth for the 4th time, in his career. And maybe the 5th, actually, because didn't Cody and Dustin pin the Shield?
Yeah, tag team champions.
Was Seth in that match, though, or was that Roman and Dean?
It was Seth Roman, because Dean was US champion as well. Well, he just lost it, I think. I think he just lost it to Kofi Kingston.
Yeah, anyway, it was Seth and Roman, so 4 times. So Cody's beaten Seth. It's 4-0 in WWE. And it's got to be 5-0. You want people to lose interest in Cody Rhodes, you have him lose at WrestleMania.
Yep.
Because at very least as a workhorse champion, I back Cody to be able to be interesting enough to hold it. But it makes him look so pathetic and beta and just terrible. Like he was so fired up. He's cried literal tears over these promos in the ring. Everything that he's done. He's fought through legitimate injuries. He's won back-to-back Rumbles, done this, done that, feuded with this guy, feuded with that guy, feuded with the next guy. It's all been about finishing the story. And he just decides, I'll wait. You know, it's nonsense. And I was coming up with, okay, is there a way that they could work us here? And it doesn't look like it, because for the first time ever, you know, when they pulled all the Kofi Mania stuff, you could kind of tell that was a work. It didn't stop you from going with it, but you could tell Kofi Mania was a work. Like I was never of the opinion that we weren't getting Kofi at WrestleMania.
That was never intentional. If he hadn't got injured, it would have been Mustafa Ali.
It would have. It absolutely would have. And I've heard that Mustafa Ali's been making big waves on the independent scene. So good luck to him.
He's been doing all right. He's been doing all right. He's just
apparently he's one of the companies basically said, yeah, we've never had this much interest in a show than when we said that Ali was showing up. So he's got a very strong following, and people like him, Mustafa and he's very good. Ali. He's very good. So anyway, you know, props to Ali, and unfortunately, it just wasn't to be. But when they were working us over the Kofi thing, not Cody. When we were being worked over Kofi Kingston, we all knew that was a work. Like when he won the gauntlet but didn't win the gauntlet because Daniel Bryan's the final opponent in the gauntlet. Like, you've screwed us there. And then it's whether the New Day are a B+ tag team. We get that tag team gauntlet. I still think it's one of the greatest booked episodes of SmackDown, just ever. I love that gauntlet. It's so good. You know, that moment with the Usos just never fails to make me smile, because that is, I know you hate it, but that is long-term storytelling at its absolute peak.
That's true.
But we knew we were being worked by the Kofi stuff. This doesn't feel that way. No. It just doesn't. Like the way that everything's come out, executive this, Rock's got more power that. This isn't getting turned round. We're going to have to swallow this main event. We're going to have to swallow another uninspiring main event with another part-timer going for the title of another part-timer.
The only thing as well that's quite funny, just looking at a few things. So Reddit users are comparing this to Starrcade 97, Hollywood Hogan versus Sting. There's there's AEW Twitter accounts that are literally calling Cody Rhodes a geek because he's literally been geeked out by WWE. Have to admit that is funny but true. Another Twitter account who's hardcore WWE, Patrick the Heel. He's not one I particularly like, but he's done a Twitter rant, right? And his last comment is one of the funniest comments I've ever read. So for his entire thread, it's about like The Rock doesn't care about the business; it's just all about money. Okay, fair enough. His last comment is, my point is, The Rock returning completely overshadowed Shotzi Blackheart SmackDown return, and I'm mad about it in caps.
Yeah.
What? Like, be annoyed about The Rock, I found up it. No one gives a fuck about Shotzi Blackheart. Fucking useless.
Well, I mean, you can have your favourites. You can back your favourites.
How you can be a favourite Shotzi Blackheart, I don't know. I used
to
think she was alright.
You know, we have our own things, but so I was, because the way that I'm talking about how it doesn't feel like we're being worked. I see a comment there from Jamie asking, okay, so do we get Rollins versus Drew versus Cody triple threat at WrestleMania? That is something.
When did he drop that? Because I don't see it. When did he drop that?
I've just read it. I think it's Jamie.
Is it on our live chat? Because I'm not seeing any comments. All I'm seeing
yeah.
The last comment I saw is from is mine that I put. This is what I announced from PW Insider about the Cody Rollins at Mania and then SummerSlam.
No, I've got something from user Jamie Phillips football chat. So we're looking at Cody versus Drew versus Rollins in a 3-way. I think that would be a really good match. It doesn't hit the same. It doesn't strike the same chord, does it? It's like it'll feel like a consolation. And Seth's been trying so hard with that belt for it to not feel like a consolation, only for it to literally be used as a consolation when it gets to WrestleMania. Like, just...
my comments were loading, guys. Sorry, I have got them now. So, yeah, Jamie, some good comments. I'll come back to that in a second because there's some interesting ones on that. So, I'll bring up the last couple of comments I've got from PW Insider, and then we'll dive into some chat comments. And guys, just keep your questions in, because if anything, comments, questions a lot. Others are also comparing this to the match at WrestleMania 9. Bret Hart loses to Yokozuna. Hogan appears,
and Hulk Hogan just comes down,
takes the title, but doesn't job. He doesn't do the job for Bret Hart at SummerSlam. He does it back to Yokozuna. Update as well. Cody Rhodes is not advertised for SmackDown next week in Charlotte. He's not advertised. So that pretty much confirms that.
So he's going to leave, and that's just it. He's just not on SmackDown anymore. He just doesn't care. He's just gone.
Yep. And now for perhaps one of the most interesting... Well, there's two more. So second to last one is from PW Insider. Numerous WWE sources have concurred that the decision to go with The Rock versus Roman Reigns WrestleMania match for that weekend is expected to be announced this Thursday in Las Vegas for the Philly event. This was a push by The Rock to move into the Mania event, backed by TKO execs. This is their top execs. So they've concurred that. So they've basically confirmed, like, higher ups, they want to go with it. And the last thing I want to bring up is, after SmackDown finished, that whole segment was, of course, uploaded to YouTube. It is now, and I am not kidding by this, it'll be a lot more since then. It'll be a whole lot more. So in 12 hours, this video has been watched nearly 2 million times, and it has over 200,000 dislikes, 57,000 likes. It is now officially the most disliked YouTube video of all time for WWE.
Yep, it's beating out when Charlotte was added to... Well, isn't this funny? It's beating out the last time they tried to over-egg the pudding on our WrestleMania main event, when they added Charlotte to what should have just been Becky versus Ronda. And it didn't matter then, but that was 81,000 dislikes.
Yeah,
and this has over 200,000. TKO's a bigger fish, though. Like,
it's their money.
I don't think they care.
Nah,
and I think they know that we're going to pay anyway. They know that we're not cancelling our network subscriptions over it.
Exactly.
They know. In effect, they've won. And they've done exactly what redacted. could never have done. And they've made it so that fans ultimately don't matter. If it goes ahead the way that they've put it down and the way that it looks like, if nothing changes in that time, then it is officially like Stranger Things or anything else on Netflix. We'll just be watching the episodes and things will just happen. And for all those times that Triple H comes out and says, we are WWE, all the times that John Cena has said that we run WWE, that we have that power, we are the authority, remember. All the people that have come out and told us that this matters, that we're in control, that we can vote, that we can voice our opinions, we can say who we want to see, and we can say who we don't want to see. And they've ignored it consistently until it just hasn't been capable. They haven't been capable of ignoring it any further. When we were fed up of part-time champions, they gave us a full-time champion. When we were fed up of people not getting a chance like Kofi, they went with it. You know, because they'll listen to us. When we were sick to the back teeth of Daniel Bryan not getting a chance, they gave Daniel Bryan his chance.
They were forced into that heavy.
They now don't have to. Yep. They now just don't have to.
Yep. Great comments from Jamie. He's got 5 comments, and so I'm going to go through all of them one by one. So his first comment here, obviously, I know you've read the triple threat, so we'll go in a minute. So what I'm confused with what they were going to do with Punk if he wasn't injured. Punk was going to... My original hope was I hoped Cody would win the Chamber, Punk would win the Rumble, and they would still get what they want. Either way, I think Punk would have then won the Chamber, maybe. He would have faced Rollins. Cody still probably went for Roman. I think the minute Punk's injury came in, they were like, well, now we've got the incentive where we can just use Rock. It gives you something. I'm not sure, but it's still not as exciting. He then says, are we looking at Cody versus Drew versus Rollins? Not a bad idea. But again, I've got the inclination where you've already mentioned about Drew's contract. If you're not fully committed to a place you're at and you're leaving after, say, their biggest show, you don't deserve a title match on that card. You don't deserve it. Regardless of the work Drew's put in. If he's still leaving WWE after WrestleMania, I'm not putting him in a world title match. Unless he's taking the pin. I'm not putting him in it. It just has nothing for me. That's just me, though. But we'll see. He then says, Rollins, Cody, Drew are so good with the promos. Yeah, when they're not repetitive. They will make us care. Also having Drew there helps if Rollins is still carrying injury. He is. So hopefully that'll change. Plus, remember Drew and Finn. My point, exactly.
Yeah.
Jamie then says
there's still absolutely no reason, and again, like, talk about just short-sighted.
Yeah.
Why did Damian Priest win the Money in the Bank?
I said it the minute we done the Money in the Bank preview
show.
I
but his name isn't even. His name isn't even like close to anything we're talking about.
Like,
okay,
why
he lost to Drew on Raw
with ease. By the way.
What is it?
With ease, it was easy for.
Yeah, it wasn't a particularly tough match. You know, they did it for some R-Truth stuff, and R-Truth's great, but really, you shouldn't have Damian Priest do that unless he's going to cash in soon.
Yep.
And like, the other thing is, he knows he can cash in on any champion, right? We know this.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have to wait for Seth. It doesn't always have to be Seth. Why hasn't there been a tease of the Bloodline?
Good point.
Why? Because we know that Judgment Day, no Bloodline exist, because they beat up AJ Styles practically together, kind of.
Yeah, and also if you
there was that segment where Rhea Ripley was like, "Let's talk" to Paul Heyman, and it looked like Rhea Ripley was maybe going to turn on Judgment Day. You know, they know each other exist, so why at the end of one of these main events, when Roman Reigns is blowing out his arse, haven't the Judgment Day just come down with the briefcase? I'll tell you why. Because they don't believe Damian Priest is a main eventer.
Yeah, and I said it when we went back to the Money in the Bank show. When he was announced
Think
for the
of
match,
all the
he was
money they would have
expected-
made if they just had LA Knight do it.
Should have won it. And it was the fact is like as well, you saw afterwards about the age comments. I was like, Priest is older than LA Knight as well, and LA Knight is a better star.
Yeah, and it's just heat for heat's sake, and they keep wanting to get this heat out of us, and 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 we need something to.
Like,
you can't just have villains.
You
can't just have villains.
Like,
and the whole thing is, you give us Seth Rollins as this like babyface champion, and then it's like, see, he's your guy. Okay, let's look across the fucking water at what we've currently got to cheer for. Who are we hoping to win matches? Who are the champions, the upstanding champions in the WWE at the moment that we're supposed to be rooting for? At least some of them. So Roman Reigns obviously is never there.
True.
Seth Rollins, we're supposed to be cheering. Gunther's supposed to be evil, so we're not meant to cheer him. He has good matches, but he's a heel, so we're supposed to want to see him lose.
He's in an NWO Stone Cold scenario from the 90s where they were the heels, but the fans just loved their attitude. Gunther's just his match quality.
This is still going, by the way. Logan Paul, an obnoxious heel champion who cheats to win, and that's fine to have.
And fans love it.
You know, and I actually, I thought the match between him and Kevin Owens was better. Not, like, as I said, not a standout, but I thought it was better than it was going to be. So fair play to both of them.
It was all right.
Your tag champs right now, still Judgment Day, still heels. One of them's also the Money in the Bank winner. And your women's tag team champions are Damage Control. One of your women's champions is Io Sky. So she's heel too. And the other one is Rhea Ripley, who's in Judgment Day. I'm probably the leader of the Judgment Day. I think that's pretty clear now.
She's got cake and she's heel. Leadership, so yeah.
Yeah, and she is also heel.
Yep, far too many.
And if a heel champion always has to win because you keep the belts on them, we're gonna stop caring.
Yeah, you want to at least see a babyface champion succeed now and again, like multiple. Like having just the one is really weak.
And having no shock title changes anymore. Like no shock babyface title change anymore. Nothing just comes out of the blue. DIY couldn't have just won on Monday. Because it's got to be a longer term story. We've got to wait. Like, no. We're fine with waiting if you give us something to like. But other than Seth Rollins, who won't be wrestling right now because he's a face champion, we have nothing to cheer for. We have a lot to like in terms of match quality, nothing to cheer for. Nothing to root for.
Spot on. Jamie then says, I'm intrigued with the story built for Rock and Roman. They can go into a lot of family stuff. I can't lie, I'm actually interested. Fair enough. Me personally, I say back to the start of the show, I'm not. I think it's shit, but each to their own. He then says, I think Cody wins both belts SummerSlam and he gives up the world title where Gunther wins that. See if he'd done that, he's still a shit champion. Like, that is shit. Like, that ruins Gunther as well. Like that.
Oh no, that's the thing. The more people you drag into this mess to try and fix it, the more people you're going to hurt.
Yeah, it's dangerous. It's very dangerous. If you want to do a dusty finish, have Cody win the world title only for Priest to cash in right away and win.
Yes, and that would have been absolutely fantastic if it was Roman Reigns' belt.
Yeah.
Imagine Cody finished the story and then Judgment Day cashed in.
That would epitomise Madison Square Garden, where he fought.
Because then it's the belt that they've taken away from him.
Yeah.
You know, like, so I know I've just said the more people you drag into this, the harder it gets to fix. if they were working us, or if you were like, work this angle,
yeah,
okay, you can't put the rock back in the you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. You can't put the rock away. He's done what he's done. Cody said what he said. If it was a work, one man fixes it, and it would get Cody away with not looking like a complete cuck, because he'd be able to like fire up a bit more.
yeah.
I would have CM Punk come out on Monday, arm still heavily like in the sling and everything, and just berate Cody, like just talk down to him. Go, how fucking dare you beat me in the Royal Rumble, take my main event dreams away, and give them up to him. Not just give them up, you give them up to him, the man that made me leave in the first place.
Yeah.
You give it up to him, and you give CM Punk 7-8 minutes on the mic, and he talks about how Cody would be a disappointment to himself, to his family, to his young child, everything that you wouldn't want to be. Talk about how Cody is a disappointment to the fans because they've all been fired up for so long. They've been chanting his name. The woe gets louder every week, and he's given up on them just because Rock's there. Talk about how he's giving up on CM Punk. Talk about this alternative. You say you're more CM Punk than me. You did everything I wanted to. I wanted to main event WrestleMania and win the title. You've got the chance to do that. You're just going to give it up. And finally, I would have him say, in that alternative, though, think about everyone else you're letting down. You start a whole promotion to show that eventually guys can get here to the promised land, to the pinnacle. You're on the verge of completing your dreams, fulfilling not only your destiny, but the destiny of everyone else who's felt put down by higher power, and you cuck for the Rock. And then I would just have Punk walk out the ring. Because that should just happen. Punk should just go, I'm disgusted with you. And then you have that whole Cody's like, no, he's right. He is right. And then Rock and Roman, they advertise like a face-to-face at Elimination Chamber. Cody comes out, lays out the Rock. But no, you're not taking this.
Yeah.
That at least saves Cody.
Yeah.
And CM Punk gets away with saying so much that other people don't. That if CM Punk came out and basically buried Cody, it would have the opposite effect. So, I mean, that's how I would fix it. What would you do? You know?
To be honest, I don't think there's much you can do to fix it. Like, I generally don't know. I don't think there's much you can do. Like, the fact is, Cody has wasted my time. He's wasted everybody else's time. And as far as I'm concerned,
WWE have wasted our time.
Yeah, but him as well, for the sense that the fact is, like, he's also had the choice where he's went and done this. I'm like, I just don't have the time or the energy for him, and fuck him.
WWE's become like every major corporation run by a major corporation. They are Disney Marvel. They are this thing that builds story, intrigue, story, intrigue, and scene.
We don't really need a guest host for Mania for this. We just need we just need Nick Aldis fun enough to just make the decision. Like, just make the decision where he goes, actually, well, I want him in the main event. He can overrule in that sense, but it's just a waste.
Like, yeah, and the fact that the guest host would have to give Cody back, because this is the other thing. Cody has literally earned it. This also isn't like the Kofi Mania stuff, where Kofi didn't earn it, but the fans earned him it. You know, but by way of like physical achievement.
Yeah.
Cody physically won the Royal Rumble, so he physically gets the title shot. It's like winning the cup final and refusing to take the cup.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Also, this is TQ and the Rock. Like, it is also that as well, but we can't just say this is not WWE and Triple H as well, because like he is head of creative. If you're supposed to
Triple H has been overruled, he's been overruled.
If he has been overruled, then
if he has been overruled, he's been overruled, and at very least that keeps a stain off Triple H. And I think Triple H knows better than to do what's happening. But the TKO guy, and here's the other sort of another thing, we're complaining about like part-time champ. TKO run the UFC, so they fight like once every 3 months. They only care about the big fights.
Yeah, you got.
They're champs. Just spin their wheels, having fights that they're not going to lose until you get to the big one.
Yeah.
The problem is that Cody is the big one. Rock is not the big one in the context of this story. I'm just gutted.
Mm-hmm. I will never take Jey Uso seriously as a Royal Rumble or winner or a world champion. Punk, more believable. Jey, no, not for me. And on the back of this, Jamie, I would hate to see this. This is a waste. This goes against everything that they've tried to do for so long, where they wanted 2 different world champions.
The only reason to not do it at WrestleMania, the only reason to wait till SummerSlam, is if SummerSlam's at Madison Square Garden. If it's not, why did he wait?
It's unlikely.
But also, how are they going to tell that story? How are they going to have Cody was like, it was never about the main event of WrestleMania and all of these fans. It was about doing it in a smaller arena for a really, really specific reason. Yeah. I was biding my time for when we came back to MSG. I could have won it at a house show if I really wanted to.
True.
It's weird. It's bizarre. I don't like it.
Like, officially, they've lost the plot. Like, officially, they've lost the plot. Like, on all grounds. Like, there's no coming back to this. And if they end up, by all means, having another title unification at this point, then, and that happens at SummerSlam, they better know what they're doing. I don't see any intrigue at all. Like, there's no fun. There's no fun.
You can't have title unification again unless you're going to have a full-time champion. And we've not even spoken about this. Are they just doing this? They're talking about money, right? WrestleMania sells regardless. I hate to say it, but it's true. WrestleMania sells regardless. Rock, no Rock, it doesn't matter. WrestleMania sells.
Yeah.
Are they doing this just to artificially extend Roman's title run?
Well, I did say last week that if he wants to break Hogan's record specifically, he has to hold the title until Rumble 2025.
They do realise that A, we don't care, and B, this run has been shit in terms of match quality. They do realise that, right?
Yeah,
there's been a few standout, excellent matches. 2 of them were with his own fucking cousin. So, obviously.
3.
The rest have been the same thing.
He had 3 title matches with Jay.
No, but I'm saying two of the standout ones. I'm not counting the most recent one as standout. Because it was shit.
That would... I'm sorry, man, but I cannot...
Title will be split. Cody drops world title, moves SmackDown as WWE champ. We have a tournament for the world title that Gunther wins.
This is my point when it just ruins Gunther. Why not just have Gunther just win the world title WrestleMania and says, well, I've already been Intercontinental champ for so long. I'm just waiting for somebody to beat me. He needs to lose the Intercontinental title anyway. But
yeah, whenever I see the word tournament, I just I picture Tony Khan.
I don't want another tournament. We've already had one for the world title. Can we just? I mean, the US
you only do a tournament if there's no story to build off for that champion. Like the reason AEW does so many tournaments is because they can't tell a story. You can tell a story for how Gunther gets the world title, the same way you can tell a story about how Gunther drops the IC title, the same way you can tell a story about how Rock doesn't fucking show up to just steal the WrestleMania main event because he wants to, like the Grinch stole fucking Christmas.
They just need to have Gunther come out when Cody goes to challenge Seth, and then Gunther just goes, fuck this, and then Gunther says, I'm taking I'm just taking Rollins at Mania. Again, Gunther needs to be the world champion on Raw. Braun Breaker winning the IC title, yeah, I mean, I would be against it.
At the minute, though,
but we don't need that yet.
Be very careful, because at the minute, though, that's another heel.
Yeah.
And I know it's like old school thinking, and we're not supposed to be thinking like, oh, cheer this one, oh, boo this one. That's kind of the point of watching. Otherwise, you're just kind of watching moves. You know, there has to be story and meaning and intrigue and good versus evil and wanting to see someone win or really wanting to see someone lose.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have that, as I've said just there, you've got Stranger Things, you've got Walking Dead, you've got something that's just produced and happens in front of you.
You've got
Game of Thrones. You've got people coming up against each other because it's their turn to come up against each other. There's nothing behind it. And as I say, if Cody goes, all right, Seth, I'm coming for you, it hurts everyone. Think about the knock-on effects.
Nobody wants to see Seth job a fourth time.
But everyone that goes for that title after, even if Cody's got it, goes, so they took this as a consolation prize because The Rock wanted the WrestleMania main event, and The Rock's more important than the world title. One guy is more important than the World Heavyweight Championship.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Because if it wasn't that way, and if Rock wanted his match at WrestleMania, okay, pick anyone else.
Yep. Bayley versus
pick
Sky.
Anybody else.
Bayley
Fuck,
versus Sky.
you can fight Seth Rollins.
Could do.
Fuck it, Rock. You can fight Seth Rollins.
Wouldn't be against that.
You Bayley could go at Gunther if you want to.
Could do.
Just
Bayley versus Sky, Ripley versus Becky. Said that a few times past couple of shows. That was already happening at WrestleMania. They were already confirmed.
Yeah, they are nice matches. I think
Jade versus Bianca was a given. Gunther versus Braun is okay, but no, that world title triple threat and that Universal main event matches, they can both go to fuck.
Well, okay, so the triple threat will be fun, okay, and it'll be nice for Cody to have a title, but
it's a cop-out.
It's not going to feel the same. It's not.
It's a cop-out.
And also, like, the way that they've been talking about WrestleMania, have they abandoned the 2-night thing?
I don't think so.
No, so it is 2 nights.
I think so, but I think actually no, because NXT deadline's on the Saturday, so it must just be a 1-nighter. Oh God!
See, it was just because when you went through that card, it didn't seem very
big.
I
will not like this. How are they going to do 2 nights though when Deadline is on the Saturday night? You're not going to do an NXT
remember
event.
last year NXT was like the aperitif to night one.
Yeah. It was a shit.
It was on at
shit
like
feeling.
3 in the afternoon.
Yeah. I'll admit I like the NXT shows, but I will not be watching Deadline. When it gets to WrestleMania weekend, I'm not even thinking about NXT. I'm thinking about the main card. I'm not interested in that
I watch NXT. I enjoy it. I mean, Shawn Michaels has been doing a fucking horrible job recently, but this week's episode was better.
I'll just sleep through it because that's the best option.
Hey, it was tough to be worse, but this week's NXT was better.
That's a relief.
It was a low bar, and he cleared it. So, well done, Shawn. But yeah, it just... I think the worst part of that, and genuinely, and I want someone to give me like some form of wrestling-based optimism here. What's good in wrestling right now? Like, you've got Gunther's title reign, but we're all just kind of waiting for that to end because we know he's better than it. So, and I mean, I'll open it up more than WWE. When Cody won the Rumble, everyone was ecstatic because it was finally, finishing the story. Now that that's not happening, now that WrestleMania with the Punk injury has been absolutely nuked, with AEW unable to draw any sort of attention or crowd and putting shit like Copeland versus Suzuki in front of you, with New Japan losing all its stars to AEW or WWE respectively, with the independent scene just sort of bubbling away, and with TNA not really doing anything.
They are doing their thing. That's what matters.
Yeah, but I mean, what is the number one thing people are looking forward to in wrestling right now? Because it's not, for me, it's not the Australia show. I don't give a fuck now. I really don't.
I'm just waiting for No Surrender just so I can watch Mustafa Ali versus Chris Sabin. Honestly, I've got not like. This is just. I don't know.
Yeah, and Billy's right. All of this because Punk got injured. Why not put the belt on Drew against Seth? Because they can't have a title change on Raw.
This is why I picked Gunther to win the Royal Rumble, because I wanted Gunther to do what Warrior Hogan did in the 90s.
Listen, you can only have a title change on a weekly episode of TV, either through the Money in the Bank briefcase or if a heel decides he's going to do it. And I'm not mentioning any names for obvious reason. But those are the only reasons that you get world title changes on episodes of, or if the belt's vacated. But even now, they tend to go, and we'll decide it at the next premium live event. Which, make your money, whatever. But just like something has to be done, and maybe putting the belt on Drew's the answer. But then, what, Cody and Drew? It's not that they can't tell that story. But it's that they have to.
Yeah. I think
like if they've been telling the story of Cody versus Drew for a year and it was finally culminating at WrestleMania, we'd be elated. If they've been telling the story that Cody was going to fight Akira Tozawa and they built the story for a year and Akira Tozawa had been used as this heel that was, on top, and Cody's like, I'm going to finish my story, I'm going to beat you, we'd still be hyped because that's the story and we want it to happen. When you watch a movie and you're rooting for the protagonist, it's because you want them to succeed in their goals. It doesn't matter what the goal is, but the problem comes here because the protagonist has decided his goal isn't what it is.
No, I agree with you. I agree.
But, and if he says, I'm going to take it all from you, but not at WrestleMania, hasn't Cody also just given away that Rock's not winning?
Waste of my time. That's what it is.
Because
It's a waste of my
if
time.
if Rock wins, if Rock beats Roman, what is there left for Cody to do? Like, it's weird.
You can try Clay to finish the story that Rock was his opponent all along. That'd be fucking hilarious. But at that point, nobody would take him serious ever again.
It's like letting someone on the slot machine in front of you when it's just about to give out the jackpot. Like, what the fuck?
Aye, it's like you're chasing the jackpot's hole. You kind of get it. Like you're plucking at it as much as you can, and then boom, somebody walks along, and goes, "Here's a quid."
No, it's even worse. It's even worse. This isn't someone coming along. This is someone going, "Excuse me," and you move over for them.
Not exactly. If you're doing WrestleMania 9, Rock would be the Hulk Hogan role, not Cody. Cody would be the Bret Hart. Roman would be no. Sorry, hold on. Scrap that. Sorry. Rock would be.
It doesn't really work for WrestleMania 9 because
Rock would be Hogan. Rock would be Hogan. Cody would be Yokozuna because he would have been the proper challenger because he won the Rumble and it was the first time the Royal Rumble winner got to challenge for the world title. And Roman would have been Bret Hart, champion.
Also, WrestleMania 9 is 1993, right?
Correct.
So I'll tell you, right, in 1993, tell the wrestling fans you're going to have a world champion that defends his belt 3 times in 8 months.
To be fair, that's not what they anticipated, but considering the fact what you had that year was you had an insane level of title matches from Bret Hart that they were used to. Yokozuna, they kind of expected him to do a lot, but not over because obviously the guy was huge. So you wouldn't.
But did Yokozuna have only 3 in 8 months?
Nah, but then Hogan has 2 title matches, 1 win, 1 huge defeat, and then after that he quits WWE like a bitch.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is we can't make this WrestleMania 9 comparison because the thought of having a part-time champion just wasn't there. And I hate to say it, and I will redact his name, but I was saying it for a decade. Part-time champions are the worst thing for WWE. And I know that I said that Roman Reigns at least has us in safe hands. What I mean is he's not going to do anything ridiculously stupid and put the whole company in danger and everything. And if you have the workhorse belt going, it might be enough to keep you interested. It might be enough, at least until Cody could have finished the fucking story. But now, not only could he, and he's choosing not to, but now we've got The Rock, another part-timer. And part-timers ruin WWE. And the worst part about that is that WWE don't think so. Because they look at the balance sheet.
Yeah.
They don't think at any point about how that might feel.
There's gaps, and then there's
how it might feel to work for a company. And the more that this happens to people, the more I actually think CM Punk did have a point in the pipe bomb, which I used to just think was a giant moan.
Yep.
But the more that he talks about it,
he's spot on.
Or the more that it happens, the more that I think about lines from that pipe bomb, and I go, yeah, no, you're right. People just turn up and decide, and because they're more popular, they get it. Or because they have more power, they get it. But it's worse when you're part-time, because you're also not there. And you just roll in, and you call the shots. It's like the substitute teacher failing everyone.
Which pretty much happens. No, I don't see this at all, Billy. If Rock's committed to WrestleMania, there's no way that he's going in not making this a title match. It'll be
And
for
if
the
it
title.
is non-title, then it is the single shittiest way to extend a title reign. We're going to have the champion on the show. He's not going to defend the belt. They've been doing that. They did it several times last year, or at least they were building to it. They definitely did it for the tag stuff
Either
on
way, no
2
matter what happens,
occasions.
it's a waste. There's no way that they're
Was
going
it
to have
2
it.
Yeah, it was 2 occasions.
There's no way that they do this match at WrestleMania and it's not for the title, because then you really will lose your fans. You will lose the fans for good if you don't. Either way,
Because
if
then
it's the intention,
Then what was the Rumble for?
wasting time, fucking up the fans, giving false hope with CM Punk.
Yeah, and they're also, because they're going to ruin the Money in the Bank. They basically have.
That needs to be
Because
scrapped now.
now I don't give a fuck. I'm beyond caring about who wins Money in the Bank, because you got about a 20% chance of actually getting a world title run out of it.
That concept needs to die, in my opinion. They just need to kill it.
So the Royal Rumble's going this way as well, because they try to be fucking clever. We're going to have you win the Rumble, but you're not going to do what the fans think you're going to do, because swerve, bro. Just, I don't know how you fix it. And it's just the case that we're just going to have to gut this out to April and just enjoy what we're served.
The thing is, though, is Bruce Pritchard has, I get your point, but Bruce Pritchard has no power with TKO. He's not even on their board. He's got nothing. This is just their top execs. There's too much to this, but I don't know. But to be fair, I think we've pretty much gone as long as me and Neely said we're going to do. And
we're just repeating ourselves at this point. But at least our thoughts are out in the open.
Yeah, we are going to wrap up there a little bit. We are going to be back obviously next week. Bit more of a fun show. We're going to do something different next week.
Well, we'll see, because if they continue shoving this shit down our throats,
we're not going to review anything next week. What we're going to do is we are going to do potentially an all-show tier list, but we'll see.
Right.
We all might hate it, but Rock versus Roman will make more money and publicity than any match in WWE history. More money, yes. Publicity, no. The reason I say no to that is because even though I can't stand the clown, Hogan versus Andre is still the one that really got WWE's attention, because it nearly saved the company from going out of business. It doesn't matter. Even Rock versus Austin, great WrestleMania matches. Hogan versus Andre stopped WWE from going out of business in 1987. Or 1986, 1987. It stopped them from going out of business. That is WWE's lifeline match.
And
nothing else.
And I understand.
And I hate Hogan.
It'll make them more money. Okay, how does that work if it's WrestleMania? Because WrestleMania, you're paying for the whole card. And
True.
Secondly,
and it was already selling out.
How do we grade this? Isn't it technically that the Greatest Royal Rumble is the match that's made the most money, because it was the match that started the Saudi deal?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, I'm going to do.
Or is it not technically? Would they not look at Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre drew the most money overseas, so maybe it's that? Except, was it that, or were the fans there to see Gunther and Sheamus, or were the fans there to see Matt Riddle and Seth Rollins?
Mm-hmm. So when you look at top selling pay-per-views, for example, unfortunately, even though it was accurate, WrestleMania 28 is still the highest one. That was 1.217.
Okay.
In terms of like best selling, I'm trying to see if I can get
Bearing in mind, that's also before The Rock was gassed.
WrestleMania 39 also had a gate of 21 million.
Is that second?
I think so. WrestleMania 28 is highest pay-per-view buys.
So is it not just trending upwards anyway?
Yeah.
Like, if WrestleMania 39 is second, then other than the anomaly of having The Rock, which clearly didn't repeat itself because WrestleMania 29 isn't second.
Mm-hmm.
Like, having that anomaly doesn't change the fact that naturally the price of everything is going up and we're still paying for it. So you've just got to look at and I'm no fucking business mogul, you know. Swerve doesn't have me on his thing, whatever that's called. But this is just counting, to borrow a phrase of a different podcaster, James O'Brien. This is just counting at this point. If people are spending more money on something as years go on, then this is going to make more money, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you've charged more.
Agreed. Couple of comments before we wrap up. So Billy says, like him or not, Cody deserved to be the one to finish the story against Roman. TKO and Triple H have annoyed every regular fan. Yep. Jamie says, from night to Mania, not just that night, the media will be all over this week. Mania, yeah, true. It just in terms of like what it meant though, it doesn't matter what match. WrestleMania 17 will always be WWE's best WrestleMania, but the most publicized match in terms of importance is Hogan versus Andre, because it stopped a company from going out of business. Massive difference. Cody still finished the story against Roman. It's just people had to think about Mania. I mean, I've said SummerSlam before, but I don't think it. If it's going to be at SummerSlam, this is the only thing I'm going to say. This is my last thing. If it's going to be at SummerSlam, then Cody should not have the title match against Seth Rollins, because it should not be title versus title and then he just drops it so someone can win it in a tournament. The world title needs to continue itself, continuously building its legitimacy to the next champion that's going to take it after Seth Rollins. They follow up smartly. You don't go, oh, hiya, Cody, how you doing? By the way, your dad's dead, but he's a legend. We're going to give you this title, and then we're going to give you this one. So, in a better respect, let's carry on. Then we're going to have this. We're going to have you with your title versus Roman. Both titles on the line. Whoever wins it. Oh, by the way, see, after you've won this one, can you just vacate it on Raw? No one's going to want or like that. It's going to be bollocks.
Yeah.
No, and me personally, I've I've watched every WrestleMania. I've watched every WrestleMania, but the first WrestleMania I watched, my family know that, was WrestleMania 2000, because I started watching from Backlash 99. Every WrestleMania I've watched since 2000, nothing has topped WrestleMania 17. Nothing. It had everything. It had the brilliant post-up story of all time, which was the Attitude Era. That's what matters. It has nothing followed since. Nothing has been as big since then. So,
and all this talk about having all these stars building, I was so happy for them. What are they all going to do now?
Give up.
Because if it was all supposed to be, oh, Cody's the one. Bear in mind, Cody, Jay, Sammy, LA Knight, Randy Orton's return, all of it rendered completely fucking pointless.
Yep. Agreed. And on that, as the hour clocks, we're just going to wrap it up there before we get angrier. And I don't want that, because I've enjoyed this show like to a degree, even though it's been a very somber but important one.
It's been cathartic. I think that's the word I would use. It's been cathartic. It's been nice to air our grievances and to be talking to a lovely room of chatters who have helped the conversation along, contributed your opinions. Even if we didn't agree with everything you said, we thank you for it, because, you know, we usually disagree, Reece and I. This is one of those rare occasions where we don't. But it's been fantastic chatting with you. And yeah, we'll be back next week for something a little bit more light-hearted. Something a bit more positive, be it, tier list, be it a classic review, whatever we want to do, we've got the power now. But yeah, that's where we are. So Reece, you can take us home.
We do indeed. And on that, thanks everyone for watching. Have a good weekend, and we'll see you next Saturday, 4:30. Be there. Bye-bye.